Hi guys, it's Sylvia and welcome to day 8 of our Excel for Beginners series. Now, last class we looked at creating basic Excel formula where we get to know how to do simple Excel formula. So today we're looking at relative and absolute cell referencing. So what is cell referencing in a spreadsheet? Cell referencing in a spreadsheet is like giving someone a direction. When you copy a formula, you're essentially telling the spreadsheet how to find the data it needs to do its job. Yeah. So what is relative and absolute? What is relative referencing? Let's start from that. Relative referencing is like same thing, like giving someone a direction at the exact position they are. For instance, if I met someone, yeah, and I met someone in the sports, yeah, and the person asked me, okay, please, I'm going to the restroom. So I met someone in that spot, and then I told the person, okay, from here, the restroom is 2 doors to the left. So if the person move 2 doors to the left from where they are, they get the direction. But imagine the person move away from that spot, I gave them that direction. If they move 2 doors to that new spot, they won't get to that. They won't get to that position direction rather. I explained to them. So that is basically what relative referencing is. So in Excel, if for instance, I'm in C1 and I sum up a cell like A1 plus B2. So I'm basically telling Excel that okay, from C1, sum up, you are moving 2 cells to the left. So if I copy that formula and I paste it on another cell, it's only sum up 2 cells to the left. So that's what relative referencing is about. All right, let's quickly practicalize relative referencing. All right, remember this our data monthly budget data that we drafted. We'll be using it for this lecture. All right, so this have this total here. I have this total here, this sum rather. So this is relative referencing because I basically told Excel move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Move 10 cells downward and sum it up for me here. And Excel did that. Okay, let me show you for instance. What if I come here and I type 10? Okay, let me type 10 in 10 places. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Alright, in 10 places. And I want to sum this up. So let me copy this as summation. Control C. I come here to paste it. Control V. You see, it sum it up for me. Why? Because it's relative referencing. It move from that direction that I am down. That it only move 10. It only move to that 10 position. Okay, for instance again. Let's take for instance again. I added extra 10. That's 11 cells now. I come here and I paste it. Sorry. Let me come here, copy it, and then come here and paste it. You see, it didn't sum up this other thing because I only reference it from that position. If I wanted to sum up, that means I have to like tell Excel that okay, move 11 cells, not 10. But because I copied it from here, you have to relative reference is exact that same direction where you tell Excel if you move away from that direction, Excel will not calculate it. So that's what relative referencing is about. All right, so let's talk about absolute referencing. Absolute referencing is like is a direction based on a fixed GPS coordinate. Okay, for instance, let's assume we are in a school store and that same person asks me like, oh, please, I'm going to the restroom. Where is the restroom? So I said the person that the restroom is at room 9. I give the person a fixed location is at room 9. So even if the person goes home and come back, the person will remember that I said the restroom is at room 9. So wherever the person say room 9, the person knows that that is the restroom. So that's like a fixed and permanent location. So in spreadsheets, absolute referencing is like you are telling Excel that okay, this particular position I want it to be permanent. I'm going to practicalize it, of course. So in Excel, how do you lock we call it absolute referencing. So how do you do absolute referencing? You you lock a cell by putting a dollar sign before the column and row. I'm going to show you. Okay, for instance, in this data set, let's say I want to find percentage of my views. I want to know how much I spend per views. So let's type it percentage percentage. All right, I want to get this percentage. So how do we get the percentage? Percentage is, remember what I told you, press equals to, you type, you, that's my internet. I want to find for percentage for my internet, how much I spend, percentage of my use for internet. That's the 120,000 divided by the division sign is backslash by the total, and then you click enter. So you see, it gave me bit by, but I want it to show in percentage format. So you just come here, this number format, come here and click on this percentage, and then you can increase the percentage. Let me increase it to decimal points. All right. Okay, what if I, just like the way I did it, I dragged this relative referencing, I dragged it to sum up this total for me. I can copy and paste this one. It will give me, because it's reference only the 10 column. But this one, if I should drag, I can drag this, but I can't drag this. If I should drag absolute reference, let's for instance, if I drag it up to this point. See that it shows me, it gives me error. The reason is because down it moved away from that location that I gave Excel. I want this has to be permanent because I'm dividing everything by the total. So that is where absolute reference comes. How do I now correct it? So this is the cell I want to lock, and it's in H14. So I put a dollar sign. You can find your dollar sign pressing shift and 4. You lock it, and then you come after the H and lock it again. Control 4. That way you find it, and then you click enter. So now let's drag. You see, I dragged it, and then let's look at it. You see, I've already locked this location. I've permanently locked it. So even though I drag, it is going to reference back to this position. So that's what absolute referencing is all about. You can check for the rest to see this divided by this, give me my percentage. So these are the percentage of how much I spend per views. All right, that's that about relative and absolute referencing. So in our next class, we'll be looking at structure of an Excel function. Stay tuned. This is where it gets more interesting. So stay tuned.